It's a strong message. I have been asked to invite people up to say a few words. I don't know if anybody's prepared to stand up now, but well, why don't, since Ken started all of this, come on up for a second.
Actually, haven't heard anything.
You're using November 14th?
But I actually, I have so many stories that I could tell about my relationship with David. But there's actually one I remember in particular. Because I have Habonim stories and I have Gezer stories. So instead I'm going to tell a Jewish student press service story. He looks and says, what could this possibly be? You don't remember it. That's why I'm telling you. So among the wonderful things that happened in the late 60s and early 70s is a lot of us Habonim folks found ourselves involved in the broader Jewish student activity. Yonah already spoke to this a little bit. And I was out in Berkeley. I was a member of the editorial collective of the Berkeley Jewish Radical. It sounds great. I'll say it again. And you know, back then, and again, I tell my kids all the time, they have all these, you know, tools at their disposal. It should have been a revolution already, because we certainly would have had a revolution if we had these tools back then. But anyhow, so here we are in California with the editorial collective of the Berkeley Jewish Radical, and we had been to New York for a meeting of the Jewish Student Press Service annual conference. And for some strange reason, Time magazine had come to cover the conference. And okay, Time magazine was there, they took pictures, who knew? All of a sudden I'm in Berkeley, and I think Arnie's here, right? Arnie, you're here someplace? Right, and Bradley's here. Three of the four of us, David Lichtenstein couldn't make it today, but we were living together in Berkeley, and the phone rings at 6 in the morning, which is those of you who live in Israel remember the 3-hour time difference. And it's David on the other end of the phone saying, your picture's in Time magazine. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going back to sleep at 6 in the morning. I don't know what time you went to sleep that night. And sure enough, Arnie was in the picture as well. Who else was in the picture, Arnie? Any memory? No, okay.
But I have it in the archive.
I have a copy too. And we ran down to campus and bought a copy of Time magazine, and sure enough, there was a whole article about this new Jewish media that had emerged in North America. And there were Arnie and I and two other guys looking very intently, you know, at a speaker, I'm sure. And I just remember David calling, and I was in total disbelief that this could possibly be true. Were you chair of the press service then?
No, I was probably either co-editor or was Sarada?
I don't know.
No, I was probably David.
Someone here will know, right?
Well, David Kaufman.
You were Secretary General. I have a complete collection of all the Berkeley Jewish Radicals ever put out. And someone said to me, oh, you ought to contribute to someone. I said, no, I'm keeping them. They're valuable. So David, thank you for that part of our life together, in addition to all the other parts of our life.
מעבר לגיטרה לא הכנתי שום דבר. But if we're saying something anyway, I think somebody has to speak on behalf of the thousands of people, literally, whose lives were profoundly affected by David in ways that David himself doesn't know, can't know. The kind of amazing ripple effect of this guy who was such, not only an inspiration, but also some sort of force that created or that fostered something very important in other people in ways that he doesn't know. And the reason I can say this with some assurance is that I'm one of them. David was David is the reason that I'm in journalism. David was this guy who was, he would find things that were worthwhile and bring them to the attention of other people, which is what a journalist is supposed to do. And he was also, as a journalist, a tremendous example to me because I have had many editors in my life and worked with many people. But there's nobody like David. He could write just like what you want from an editor. Everybody in journalism knows what everybody else does. And here's a guy who could write everybody else I've ever met under the table. And so on behalf of all of these people, that each in their individual ways, in ways that I don't know, and David doesn't know, he affected their lives and set them in some really important direction. I just want to say thank you.
Before I introduce Bruce Arvitt, who is David and my host here, I just want to say I met David in the summer of 1965. We were both in KM Futsal Magatin Bet, the CITs. He was at Na'aleh, I was at Mosheva, and we met at a Mifgash Bonim. If I recall correctly, and it might have been then or it might have been in the winter at a seminar, for some reason we both wanted to get up and teach the crowd a scandalous parody of the British Labour Party anthem. I don't know why we both know it. But I think it's the moment where you realize that you, there was a certain wisdom that dwelt in David. And I've been trying to extract that for 45 years now, I guess. Still haven't found it, but I know it's in there somewhere. So it's been a long journey. And I look around here at all the people that have gathered. Well, David expressed pain, I guess I expressed confusion. Living here, living there. It is the center. It's not the periphery. And there is, rest assured, Mookie, you may think it's lacking, this country has nothing but irony. And